everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well as you can do after being knocked out by Brighton in the FA Cup. Lewis, I am fuming after this game. I try and be chilled out, you know. Obviously, I want you to have your moment. I'm not going to interrupt you.
Nah,
how do you
fine.
describe what you've just seen?
Pathetic, timid, uninspiring. That is probably one of the most spineless exits I've seen from us in a fucking while, man. Like, the number one thing that stood out to me, right, was like, we've been calling for a striker all month. We've been calling for a striker for the last two windows. That game was screaming for one. With all of the aimless play that we made within the midfield, going to the final third, not having a focal point and just reversing and recycling it backwards and sideways before crossing the ball into nobody. That's the story of our game. I could count like, what, 2-3 shots on target? One Enzo shot at the end, the own goal, which was still a gift that we needed to get given to, by a Brighton team that's got 2 wins in their last 12. A Brighton team that just got whooped 7-0. A Brighton team that's already questioning their own coach, with a fuck ton of injuries for themselves as well. And we're the ones that looked uninspiring. We're the ones that looked lifeless. Pathetic. Pathetic all round. Pathetic from the sporting directors. Pathetic from this manager, I'll call him out, because there was only ever one plan, and when it didn't work, we just kept doing it on repeat all match. Second half was the exact same thing as the first half. No fucking change there. Players, uninspiring. Sancho did nothing. Palmer, very ineffective, especially in the second half. Nkunku, nothing, but he's not a 9. But we decided not to go and get a number 9. And I've said for ages, I've played João Felix in the 9, and we gone and loaned him instead because he got barely any minutes here. Defense, fullbacks, like Gusto's been out of position for the second goal, but that's also the position that he's meant to be in terms of the structure. So like, it's kind of instructional. When you see the second goal, he's the one that's been left out to invert. And because he gets the second ball through, he's not in the position where a right back that's overlapping is probably for that goal.
That's tactical then.
Yeah, that's tactical. That's tactical. So that comes down to the manager. Sanchez is Sanchez. Short passing was a positive. Like, it's like a make-a-wish kid with this brother. I've said I don't ever want to see this guy start again. We decided to do the cup keeper thing. I swear, if he starts next week, my head is going to be on fucking Jupiter. I don't want to see this guy play another minute for the club again. But this isn't just going to be a Sanchez just cuss out sesh for 8 minutes, because it weren't just him. It was just an uninspiring, timid mess from top to bottom. That was it.
So who do you blame that on?
Sporting directors first. Ultimately, you're in year 3 now. Why we spent 1.4 billion and I still need a spine? Our goalkeeper still ain't good enough. We still haven't got an experienced centre-back or experience in general. We still need a striker with some box presence, with some aerial threat. And this is the squad that we've got assembled after 1.4 billion spent. So that comes down to them first. Then you look at Maresca.
Let me ask you another question. Let me back. You talk about sporting director. Talk about the ownership, Lewis. Come on.
Sporting directors, owners, same thing.
No, but it's not the same. It's different. It's different.
The sporting directors are the ones that are like running the club and making the day-to-day decisions. That's why I'm talking about them.
So what do you make of the appointment of the sporting directors? How was that done? Why was it done? How can you justify the decision that was being made to appoint them in the first place?
I don't know what was made to pick them, but they're the ones that were picked and they're the ones that are failing and flunked 1.4 million. That's why they're my focus. Now, talk about Clearlake. I don't mind. They're the ones that have hired them. They're the ones that have still kept them in the job too. I am fine with that. I don't have any issues with it. But if you're asking me, like, who is the one that runs all of this shit? Who is the one that makes the day-to-day decisions? It is them.
Within the bounds of what Clearlake and Bowley asked them to do.
Clearlake, not Bowley. He's a minority shareholder.
Okay, Clearlake.
You've got to look at Igbali. If you want to pinpoint one person, pinpoint Igbali. And go do that. I don't mind. Fuck him too. The same way with the sporting directors. And think I want to sit here and defend him. He's the one that has picked them and allowed them to sit through these decisions that they've made year in and year out. So throw them into it as well. But ultimately, like, my whole thought process is, I can't get rid of Igbali. You can't get rid of Clearlake. You can do Clearlake out there here till 2032. I'm Clearlake, fix the fuck up. And to fix the fuck up, you get these sporting directors out. And that's why they're my focus. Get rid of them. Get rid of them and the model that they are trying to instill. Because this isn't helping. Like, we did nothing in January except bring in a midfielder that Maresca's already come out and said isn't good enough for us right now. We've loaned out or sold half of our Conference League squad. And then we brought in some random left back from Brazil called Dena Kebab or whatever the fuck his name is for 10 million. For what? He ain't going to be good enough for the first team. He's fucking 16. Can't even get changed with the first team. This is our activity. When we knew there was problems of brewing going into January. Get them out. Get them out. Maresca is a naive manager. He's an inexperienced manager and he's going to make mistakes. That's why I've always said I'm going to give him more leniency than Pochettino. As much as he does deserve to be held accountable. Don't think it's just Maresca Defense League over here. Fact is, that was just one plan. It didn't work and we didn't do anything else after that point. And he's made mistakes in games before as well. But after sacking Poch for not getting top 4, you brought in a championship manager who needs time and who needs experience, and you've given him a 5-year contract, indirectly telling us that he's going to be the manager that takes us to the promised land. Okay, so if he can't get me to the targets that I expect within my first season, I'm looking at the people that hired him. Because you're the ones that chose to go for the championship manager. So, sporting directors first.
And there were other options. There were Premier League managers available. There were, if I'm not wrong, who's Barcelona's manager?
Hansi Flick.
Hansi Flick was available. You had...
I was told all Hansi Flicks failed with Germany. What's he going to do? Okay.
You had a lot of top managers on the market. I personally, before we brought in Maresca, look, I'm not saying he would have exactly fitted the model we're doing now, but I would have said take Mourinho. He's a winner.
Brother,
no, but Lewis, look,
Mourinho in 2025.
I appreciate that. My point is this. Bring in an established manager. I wasn't happy about bringing in Maresca, but I said, you know what? He's the best out of what we were looking at. We weren't even looking at Flick. That's the thing. We weren't even looking at him. We were looking at Thomas Frank, De Zerbi, and Ian McKenna. And for me, Maresca was still the best option out of those. So what does that say about the selection we chose in the first place in terms of the standard required for that? And then the fact that we still think, well, I still think that Maresca was the best options out of those. Would those managers be doing better now? And what can we say about Maresca at this moment in time?
Maybe those managers would do more because, they're probably just more experienced within this field. But also, you could have made a better squad for us to work with. So if we have injury issues, we can handle it properly. Again, the striker situation. Our midfield depth, we are one Caicedo injury from me just saying season over, season done. I don't care. I'm not putting myself through this stress. The centre-backs, all of them are just okay. They're okay to not good enough. Yeah. None of them are standout.
Chalobah made a big mistake for the first goal.
Yes, and this is the most experienced one that we have. Shout out Trev, squad player. That's just it. Keep him as a squad player, I don't mind. But he ain't no needle mover. Just like Tosin ain't no needle mover. Badia Shield, Desassi, all of them. We needed an experienced centre-back. What we do, we're still looking at children. Man like Thomas Araujo, man like Antonio Silva and all of that. We want an experienced head, but we're not trying to do that. So, ultimately, this is just going to keep going round and round in circles unless we hit some gold mines. Or maybe next season, Andre Santos can come and save the midfielders to depth, and we're going to put all of the pressure onto Esteval Willian because of the Neymar hype.
But we could have easily brought a Guchukwu, Andre Santos on for the midfield to give them cover. We're forced to play Caicedo and these other players.
I get
and we
Andre
still
Santos.
Lose those battles. That's the thing. We're still not dominating.
No, I get Andre Santos. Ultimately, you have to look after Strasbourg as well. It is what it is. I don't care as a Chelsea fan. They're going to have to. It's whatever. Ugo Chukwu you could have brought back. What the fuck are you leaving him in Southampton for? Oh no, they're not going to have another option. Well, whoop-de-doo. That's the whole point of a recall. Send them another midfielder. Send them a Mugu or something. Give him some minutes. Because Maresca's already come out and said he's not good enough for us. But no, we've just fumbled that window. We knew what needed to be addressed and we didn't address it. And here we are. Now I'm thinking look, top 4, if we don't have a striker, it's looking long. Because that performance was fucking alarming. All that said to me is, you ain't got a striker, we ain't got a clue. Even with Nicholas Jackson, I get the guy's out of form. He could barely hit a barn door right now. But he still offers you intangibles in the attack that Nkunku doesn't. The hold-up play, the link-up play, the ball carrying. Nkunku ain't giving me none of that. because he's not a 9, but yet we have to keep playing him in the 9. So it's the same situation, round and around and around and around, and we've been saying all window, go get a striker. We didn't go fucking get a striker.
We could have blamed Mark Guiu, but he was injured as well, so we're totally out of options.
Yeah, but man, these guys spent all season not giving Guiu minutes. Why are we going to act like, oh, we miss Guiu now? No, it's like, you didn't rate him anyway, so go and get another one. But we don't. We go and buy the fucking children to flip in 4 years. I don't mind that if you pattern the first team. You have the first team set up, buy all the kids you want, flip all the kids you want, give me a 11 and a bench I can believe in, and then do that shit. Instead, no, what do? Flip again. Keep flipping, keep flipping. Where are we going to be? Top 4's apparently not meant to be a target, but the Jordan deal hinges on that. Our Nike deal could be getting split if we don't get that. And you told us you sacked Poch for that. Why is Maresca coming out and saying, oh, we don't have any targets now? You're chatting shit. So if we don't get top 4, I don't want to hear no bullshit about, oh, we're still in progress, we're still on track and all of that, because no, we're not. 3 years without Champions League, and that's meant to be us on track after you spent over $1 billion. You're chatting shit. You're chatting fucking shit. Big, big, big alarm bells ringing from that sort of performance, because without a striker, that attack looks clueless.
Do we give Brighton any credit? Or were we looking at ourselves? Because
they look better second half.
There's nothing wrong with saying...
First half, I didn't think they were good. Second half, I thought they were a lot better. It's like they realised they could expose us on the wings a little bit more, and they capitalised on it. But all they had to do was just wait for their opportunity, because we were never scoring. We were never putting a shot on target. All it was just wait. Wait. Because what are we always going to do? We're going to give you an opportunity at the back. Just wait. Just be patient. And that's all that they had to do in the second half. They were better. Their game management was a little bit better. That's all. It was a meaty game from both sides. Let's call it what it is.
Do you think that we took this game seriously?
I think we tried to. Which is again why the alarm bells are ringing. Like we didn't rotate that heavily. Dewsbury Hall comes in for Enzo. You've got Toss in for Chalobah, which I said I wanted anyway because Colwell's been off form the last few games. And they've put Sanchez in as the cup keeper. Bar that, it was our strongest 11. It's not like Newcastle where we had no bench and we treated it like a Conference League game. We actually tried to take this seriously. Says a lot with the performance that we just dropped. Says a fucking lot.
Where do you see us going from now?
I don't know, man. Because I'm really concerned about our attack now. The midfield, we already know what it is. One injury to a key player, we are finished. The defence, I can't really rely on. Just keep Jorgensen starting in goal. There might be something to have some faith in, but everything else, you got to start rebuilding again. Because not good. Not good at all. And if we're going to keep looking like that in the final third, I don't know where the goals are going to come from. And if you don't know where the goals are coming from, where are the wins going to come from? So it's up to them.
Thank you very much, Lewis.
Bless.